Michigan might have actually cracked the nuts. Got my trusty nutcracker here. He's been here with me for the last 4 years, and Michigan has won the last 4 years. A 6-5 Michigan team went to Columbus and beat a number 2 Ohio State team. I picked Michigan to win this game, not because Ohio State is soft, but because Michigan would win in the line of scrimmage, on the line of scrimmage, and they did. Ryan Day wanted to prove that Ohio State could win in the trenches, and they couldn't. Even though he had relied on wide receivers for the existence of his own era there at Ohio State. Why did he not pass the ball? This was not funny to me until the day after Michigan won the game, because I thought Michigan would win 24-23, and Zavada would kick the game winner with under a minute left, and that is exactly what happened. But it was a lower scoring game, 13-10. I started laughing after the stats and all of the figures came in after that game. And the reminders of everything that Ohio State wanted to do and tried to do. Wow. $21 million was not enough to beat Michigan. That's not enough. Michigan is about to surpass that number on you. We just gave that to one quarterback, the best in the nation. Kyle McCord is 9-3 with Syracuse, and he is one of the top passers in the nation. Will Howard threw 2 interceptions and lost to Michigan. Ohio State had 72 rushing yards to Michigan's 177. So the winner of the rushing battle has won 24 of 24 in the last 24 meetings. Ohio State will not go to the Big Ten title game again because of Michigan. Ohio State will not get a top 4 seed in the playoff, which would have given them a bye because of Michigan. Michigan gave every team in the playoff a template on how to beat Ohio State. So once they get into the playoff, you just keep the wide receivers in front. Your front 4 should dominate their offensive line. And if you want to run the ball, you probably can versus their defensive line. Sherrone Moore is now 2-0 versus Ohio State after his first full season. One full season, he's 2-0 versus you. Yes, the end of last year, Jim Harbaugh he was suspended, but he had the week to do the practices and whatnot. But Sherrone Moore calling that game. So he is 2-0 after 1 year versus Ohio State. How many other people could say that in history? Ohio State is losing their seniors and NIL acquisitions that they got this past year after this season. And Michigan just got into the NIL game. They just got there. You've been paying players for decades, and Michigan just showed up on the scene, and we beat you even before that happens. Michigan got the best quarterback in the nation and will get receivers and tight ends because of that. But they will not forget that the trenches are the most important aspect on a team, and Michigan will acquire offensive and defensive linemen either in the portal or in the next year's recruiting class. Maybe this year's. I think some flips could happen after this devastating upset of Ohio State, even though I thought Michigan would win this game. Now, the crazy thing is Michigan, everyone thought they're a top 10 team going in, right? They didn't have a quarterback. Well, even without a quarterback, they improved every week and beat Ohio State without a quarterback. But Michigan improved every week. Wink Martindale. No, Will Johnson. All right, we got to figure some other things out on the defensive side. And he listened to me and he said, all right, front four, the best front four in the nation, go get Ohio State. I'm going to keep everything in front on the back end. And it worked. It worked once again for the fourth time in a row. You knew what was going to happen. God. Ohio State needed to pass, and pass again. But instead, Ryan Day forced it up the middle. He wanted to prove he was more physical than Michigan. No, you can't just win the game. You could have. Michigan broke Ryan Day. Michigan broke the Buckeyes. Now, Ohio State can go on and win the national title. They probably are going to make the playoff. So we'll see, but they're not going to beat any team with great trenches like Georgia, Texas, Oregon. They lost to Oregon already. Any team that has great offensive and defensive lines, Ohio State is going to lose to unless they rely on them wide receivers that all of these Ohio State fans have been praising over the last 5 years. So it got real funny after Michigan won that game, and it still is. And Michigan is going to get a nobody bowl. I hope no one wants to go to New York. Everyone wants Tampa or whatever. I hope it's the Prince Stripe Bowl because Michigan has uber amounts of fans in New York. And we will fill that stadium and win that bowl game no matter who it is against, no matter who Michigan is playing in this bowl game coming up. You got to understand that Loveland and Johnson did not play versus Ohio State and still won. They're not going to play in the bowl game. And neither is Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, any of the first-round draft picks, and maybe second- and third-round draft picks. So it looks like Michigan could get 9 draft picks again. The only thing we were missing this season was the quarterback, a game manager. We had the running backs. The offensive line was raw, and it was new. And by the end of the season, it beat number 2 Ohio State. So I love the trajectory of Michigan's program. Let's go. Bring it on. I can't wait until next season. I can't wait till the bowl game when we whoop whoever's ass. And then next season. Could be Underwood starting. It could be Miller Moss coming in the portal. It could be Davis Warren taking a huge leap at quarterback. We're going to have options. And competition is the greatest thing, but the rest of the team is going to be really good coming back. And I'll do a video on returning players from Michigan coming up, but wow. The Buckeyes are broken, and Michigan did that. Go Blue.